Electric car sales have just grown significantly in January in China, the world's biggest car market. And the numbers are actually better than what they look like for one very good reason. China's car sales in January were down about 12% versus January last year. It honestly looks like the Chinese car market might be running out of steam. But electric cars, they're not. They're defying this slowdown in car sales in a 31 million car market. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting us on YouTube members and Patreon. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the description below. That does help me to make these videos. China, EVs retail, 744,000 were sold in China in January. And that's the worst month of the year by far. That means that EV sales, a combination of EVs and plug-in hybrids, grew by 10.5% versus January of last year. But what this means is that electric car sales grew by 10.5% in a market that contracted by 12%. So the entire car market went down significantly, but EV sales grew. So these numbers are actually incredibly good. Now, the Chinese government is saying this, and I want to know if you agree with this. Many consumers completed their car buying plans at the end of 2024, and there was less time for effective sales in January than ever before. That's what the Chinese government is saying. There was less time in January this year than any January ever before for people to buy a car. That's the reason that the car market contracted by so much. I don't know about that. What do you think? Now, electric car sales actually grew faster than plug-in hybrid sales. In fact, EV sales were a total of 430,000 in January, which was up by 13.3% versus January of last year. EVs contributed 58% of all plug-in hybrid and EV sales combined together, down from 58.5% in December. So around 58% of all NEVs, so plug-in hybrids and EVs, around 58% of them are fully electric. So a lot of people believe that plug-in hybrids are more popular in China. As you can see, that's not actually true. Only around 42% of all NEVs sold in China are plug-in hybrids. So EVs are still way out ahead. Plug-in hybrid vehicles, excluding extended range vehicles, contributed 33.6% of all NEV retail sales in January, with 250,000 units sold. This is up 19% year on year versus January last year. Now, the other car that we don't really talk about anymore because it's a new type of car that does factor into these NEV sales is EREVs, extended range electric vehicles. They kind of work like having a generator that works as the engine that charges the battery. There was 64,000 of those sold in January. They contributed 8.6% of NEV retail sales. So that's why that plug-in hybrid sales figure was not 42%. It was 33% because the other 8.6% were EREVs. Now, the number of hydrogen-powered vehicles that were sold in China was so small that it wasn't even reported on. So yeah, if you're a hydrogen fan, sorry, but it's never happening. So, my friends, as you can see, electric car sales continue to grow in the world's biggest car market, in spite of the fact that that car market is shrinking, as I know some analysts predicted. Will it shrink this year, though, in China? No, it won't. It's very unlikely, and you can share this with your friends. I'm willing to stand by this, and if I get this wrong, I'll be very shocked. I'll be very surprised. There are too many incentives. The Chinese government now are offering too many different incentives for people to trade in their old cars and buy a new electric car or a new plug-in hybrid, some kind of new NEV vehicle. It is just like, it would not make financial sense for most people not to do it. So I do think that it's a big stimulus. There's a lot of stimulus being put into the Chinese car market that will drive sales this year. And I don't see the Chinese stopping that anytime soon. They're not going to, analysts have been saying that, next year's going to be terrible in China because the Chinese government are going to withdraw all this stimulus. They never do. It never happens, and it never will, because the Chinese government wants its own car manufacturers to take over its own car market. It wants them to be strong enough to actually take over legacy auto, to get rid of Volkswagen and Toyota and Nissan and all these car brands. And the way to do that is to continue to increase the car sales that are being sold in China. Now, let me know what you think about all of that in the comments. This is one of the most amazing stories, guys, that I have read since I started this YouTube channel. This is truly a breakthrough in battery technology, and it is real. You can potentially apply it to almost any lithium battery being manufactured, whether that's BYD's batteries, whether that's Tesla batteries, whether that's CATL batteries, whether that's batteries from a numerous number of different manufacturers around the world. This is essentially, as far as I can tell, the biggest breakthrough in battery technology. And the reason is because it's so simple. It doesn't require some sort of revolutionary battery. It doesn't require solid state battery technology, but it enables charging a battery to 100% in 10 minutes. We haven't seen this before in a production vehicle, but one has been unveiled here in Australia that can charge to 100% in literally 10 minutes. Now, yes, there is a caveat to this story. The battery is not big, but it is in an EV. And this technology, I think, is something you need to know about, because really you could potentially retrofit your vehicle with this kind of technology based on what I'm reading at the moment. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. To say welcome to all the new subscribers on the channel. Great to have all of you. Now, for those of you who are new, you just come onto the channel within the last month. I have an Xpeng G6. It can charge the battery. It's actually, I believe, one of the fastest charging EVs based in Europe. They did a test on about 30 different electric cars. It was the winner on that test. And it charged from 10 to 80% of the battery in around 19 minutes. About 19, so nearly 20 minutes. Let's just say 20 minutes from 10 to 80%, right? That's really, really good, because that means it beat every other Tesla. Every other Tesla's been tested. It beat the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It beat lots of other electric cars, right? So 20 minutes is basically the standard from 10 to 80%. However, that looks really slow in comparison to this new battery technology. And intriguingly, it appears to be just really a development of changing the anode, right? In addition to that, this is one of the longest lasting batteries that I've ever seen. Apparently, not only can it charge at these ridiculous speeds, but it has 10,000 cycle battery life, meaning the battery will outlive the car by many, 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 many years. I mean, you could literally drive the car to death, then put the battery pack in a new car, use the battery for some other purpose. This battery, 10,000 charging cycles is, I mean, you probably wouldn't do that within the space of 30 years of driving. Typically, heavy-duty industrial applications greatly benefit from fast charging, long cycle life, and energy density to deliver efficient operational performance, plus exceptional safety because of the nature of their use. That's what the company had to say. They're basically saying this battery is game-changing.